a resonant murder. Who and why took the life of a young woman and stabbed her 13 times? Don't miss out. The psychics will uncover shocking details the police overlooked. You're watching Psychic Investigations, a project of exclusively true and astonishing stories. People who call themselves clairvoyants investigate incredible paranormal phenomena and tangled criminal cases. Five years ago, in a small Ukrainian town near Kyiv, everyone was talking about the brutal murder of a young woman named Julia Skranska.
Everyone was in shock.
It's terrible. She should never have left this world so soon.
Yuliya died just 1 week before her birthday. She was about to turn 28. Nobody knows who killed her and why, as she had no enemies.
She was kind. She always helped and supported everyone.
If you say friend, you mean her.
Yuliya's family, a father, mother, and 2 daughters, lived their whole lives in a small town near Kyiv. Everyone knew them. They're respectable people, about whom everyone is only of the highest opinion. Yuliya's younger sister contacted the psychics, asking for help in uncovering the truth behind her death.
There was no one closer to me than Yuliya. She wasn't just my sister, she was my best friend, the maid of honor at my wedding, and the godmother of my daughter.
Kira is now 7. She barely remembers her godmother, but she knows how hard it is for her mother whenever the family talks about her.
She takes pills to calm down and cries.
Yuliya was a trained accountant, working as an administrator at a slot machine hall. That day was her day off, but in the evening, she went to check how things were going. And at 1 a.m., her bloody body was found half a kilometer from home. How she ended up there remains a mystery.
It was already 4 in the morning when we found out our daughter was gone. I couldn't believe it.
Yuliya dreamed of starting a family and having a child, but someone mercilessly destroyed those dreams and took her life. To this day, the killer remains unknown. The police turned the town upside down, searching for any physical evidence, but it was all in vain. The murderer left no weapon or fingerprints.
I'm begging you. Please help me understand what really happened. To live and to scroll through this picture every evening, I don't want to see it anymore. I want to understand, and that's it.
The case was taken by psychics Jana Shulikova and Jake Ryder, who's aided by his assistant Ambriella. The snake helps him communicate with the spirits of the dead.
When I look at this photo, I see a little girl. She's dead too. I'm certain the 2 deaths are somehow connected.
I'm getting some very strange information. I see a maze. The girl's inside it, moving, darting around blindly. And at the very end of the maze, I see a black box. It suddenly ignites, bursting into bright, blinding flames. And it's as if the fire erases some kind of information.
What is the mysterious box the clairvoyant sees? And what information does it hold?
I sense there's a toy inside. It's special, and it's very dear to the victim.
Hello?
A few years ago, I lost my sister.
Do you have something that was hers?
This is what she was wearing.
Yuliya bought this ring shortly before her death. She was wearing it on the night she died.
It all happened 5 years ago from this day, on the night of March 12th.
I see darkness. She's dressed in dark clothes and there's blood everywhere.
She's stubbed again and again. and I hear a piercing scream.
Yuliya sustained multiple stab wounds to her chest, one to the back, and about 10 slashes on her arms, indicating clearly that she tried to defend herself.
I see a large knife, not a small folding one. This was big.
I saw the forensic report. It was a kitchen knife.
The murder weapon was never found, but the experts reconstructed its shape and size based on the wound's contours and depth.
She wasn't supposed to leave her home that night.
But she kept calling people, trying to figure out where to go.
I'd like to check the place. Where exactly was her room?
This was her room.
5 years later, Yuliya's room has changed completely. After renovations, Ksenia's 7-year-old daughter now lives here.
There's a toy here. It's very special. A little dog.
I'm sure that's the one. His name is Gift. Yuliya brought him.
Who did she give it to?
To my daughter. She's her goddaughter.
Ksenia is 3 years younger than her sister. She was the first to marry and have a child. Yuliya never had a family of her own, so she considered little Kira her child too.
My daughter Kira had such a bond with Yuliya that sometimes I was even a little jealous. She called her mom and said she had 2 moms. To her, we were completely equal.
I feel she was so tender with your daughter because she lost her own child.
At 16.
Yuliya was in 11th grade. She'd been dating her classmate Sasha for 3 years.
He was such a lively, energetic guy.
It was first love, a modern Romeo and Juliet story. Just 16, they dreamed of having children. When Yuliya got pregnant, they kept it secret from their parents. But the truth came out when her belly could no longer be hidden. By then, she was 6 months into pregnancy.
She wanted that child, and she loved the boy she was pregnant by.
They were deeply attached to each other.
However, despite the teenagers' feelings, the parents didn't allow their daughter to give birth. They took her to the hospital, where labor was induced.
After that, she was lost. She lost her sense of life itself.
After that, Yuliya couldn't look her boyfriend in the eye. Their great love came to an end, and they broke up. 3 years later, Sasha met another girl and married her without hesitation. As for Yuliya, after what she endured at 16, she never married. She only dreamed of having a child. She poured all her love into her younger sister, and later, her niece.
She called me child right up to her last day. She really doted on me, always bringing me little gifts and sweets.
We need to retrace Yuliya's steps from that day.
Then let's go to her workplace. This used to be the slot machine hall where Yuliya worked. Now it's a furniture store. Her workstation was right behind that door.
She left this place, she left alone. What's interesting is that I see her destination, but her path is different. If I'm interpreting the maze I saw correctly, it includes her home and her workplace. Even though she was supposed to go home, she didn't take the same route back. She went a different way. It's like, how do I explain it? Like a square.
The first mark on the psychic's drawing is Yuliya's home. She left there at 8 p.m. The second mark is the slot machine hall. The fourth appears to be the location where her body was found.
Let's go there.
It was dark when she left. Why didn't she take a taxi?
Exactly. For her, that would have been normal.
she always came here by taxi. Even if she just dropped in to check at night, she'd take a taxi or ask the security guard. One of our guards would always drive her if he was on shift. But that night, strangely, she didn't ask him, even though he offered. She refused.
Let's walk.
This is where I start to feel something strange.
Do you feel like she passed through here?
She was definitely here.
Okay, I'm going to step inside.
We managed to speak to a woman who worked here 5 years ago, on the very night Yuliya died. She confirmed that Yuliya indeed was here that night.
That young woman came in. I think her name was Yuliya.
This store was the last place Yuliya was seen alive. It was the only shop in the area open 24 hours. She came in to buy drinks for home. That's likely why she took a different route than usual.
I didn't feel any dangerous energy in the store.
The psychics sense that the victim walked from the store toward her home. They follow the same path. Outside the building, they stop. What happened here? Why didn't Yuliya go inside?
Did she make it to the entrance?
She reached the door, but she didn't go in. She turned around and walked in an entirely different direction.
It feels like someone frightened her.
A man. She hears him. She senses him. She knows he's threatening her physically. And she's almost certain it could be fatal. She basically lured him away from this place.
She wanted to protect you and your child, whom she loved deeply.
Do you mean she understood that even if she entered the apartment, it wouldn't stop him?
It's quite possible she didn't risk going inside because she knew the attacker could follow her. There was no intercom on the door back then. The elevator didn't work after midnight, and she lived on the 8th floor.
What the psychics revealed made Ksenia feel ill. She couldn't imagine how or why Yuliya ended up 2 blocks away from home.
Sit down. Was she capable of doing what I'm seeing?
She always did things like that. No matter what happened, she always tried to take the blow herself.
But who was the man waiting for Yuliya near her home? Could she have known him? Otherwise, how would he know where she lived? Had he been following her?
He's a young man. I feel his aggression and rage.
He's about 20. I can't say exactly where she went, but she was supposed to complete the square. So I believe this spot. This is where she was found.
I'll show you. This is where she was found.
I sense a man here, about my height, with broad shoulders, fair hair and light eyes. I see his hands. They're covered in blood.
He's standing over her, shaking her, and I get the feeling he has family nearby.
So he's from here?
He must live here.
The man described by the psychics resembles the one who found Yuliya. His name is Timothy. He lives here with his wife and children. Mortally wounded, blood-soaked Yuliya was lying by his gate.
He's from our courtyard. I came here that morning. When I saw him, I asked, "Did she come to you?" He flinched, then said, "No, of course not."
It turned out that the man who supposedly found Yuliya's body did know her. They grew up in the same courtyard, but why did she end up at his gate at midnight?
The police were supposed to interview him.
No one touched him. At the time, his father was the head of the local police department.
Could Timothy, the man found elbow deep in Yuliya's blood, actually be the killer? Did his father protect his criminal son?
He's absolutely not guilty. She was running away. By pure coincidence, she was found by someone she knew.
I was lying down, almost asleep, when I heard the dog barking loudly. My wife woke me up and said the dogs were attacking someone and that a girl was screaming. I ran out. My father worked in the police back then. I called him and said, "We've got a situation. Call an ambulance, the police. Someone needs to come."
Was Yuliya conscious the whole time?
I started talking to her. "Yuliya, do you recognize me? Breathe, breathe, don't talk." Like in the movies, I thought maybe it would help. The doctor arrived, checked her and said she was already dead.
So who killed Yuliya so brutally? And why? Timothy didn't see anyone else on the street.
Listen, I know what that black box is. At the end of the maze, I saw a black box that suddenly ignited with bright, blinding flames. It's as if the fire erases something. What color was her bag?
Black.
It wasn't a box, it was her bag with small personal items.
Was the bag found near her?
No, the bag was missing.
Most likely, the bag was destroyed by the man who took it. I saw fire clearly. He burned it.
It's unbelievable. Was Yuliya actually robbed? But police dismissed that theory.
The victim had jewelry of some value. It wasn't taken. So we can't say the motive was material gain.
The only thing missing from the crime scene was Yuliya's bag.
Maybe the man thought there was something valuable inside.
Could she have been carrying money from the casino?
Yuliya was the administrator. We gave her reports for each machine and handed over the cash. She had cash with her. She had about a month's worth of cash.
Yuliya collected the cash once a day and kept it at home. Twice a month, she delivered it to management in Kyiv. So did the killer really intend to rob her? But why bring a knife? And how did he know she'd go to work on her day off and would be coming back with cash?
She only ever carried money from work in the morning, never at night.
But that evening was different. The cashier on duty confirmed that Yuliya left with the day's earnings. No one has any idea of why she did so.
How much money did she have on her?
Not much, 5 or 6.
1,000?
Yuliya and I counted the cash and closed up the box. She took the money and left at midnight.
So, was this just a robbery? Did the police dismiss the theory simply because they didn't know Yuliya had cash in her bag that night?
Surely there was some kind of audit afterward.
There was.
Was there a shortage?
Well, maybe they didn't count it because of what happened, but there was no investigation to look for the money.
It's possible the owner didn't report the missing money to the police to hide the true scale of the earnings. That's why law enforcement didn't know Yuliya left the venue with a large sum.
Can we speak to the man who found your sister? I need to feel his energy.
He lives over there.
Excuse me, could we speak to you for 5 minutes?
I'm Jake.
I'm Jana. She was still alive when you found her, wasn't she?
Did she say something before she died?
She said, "I feel bad. He stabbed me." I asked, "Who?" She said, "Some kid."
Unfortunately, Yuliya couldn't describe her attacker. Either she didn't recognize him or she'd never seen him before.
He's about 20 years old, that's certain. Slim build. Probably a little taller than me. He knew exactly who he was going to kill. I believe he's somehow connected to her workplace. To the slot machines.
He lost money there. He followed her for several days and knew exactly where she lived.
He lost a lot.
He may have even complained about losing.
He wasn't a regular. He might have been kicked out of the venue.
It wasn't a long period, maybe a week or two, a month at most. That kind of bitterness comes when the wound is fresh.
As our investigator discovered, there was indeed a conflict with a client at the venue 3 weeks before Yuliya's murder.
The lights went out in the venue when the man placed a large, considerable bet on one machine, then another, then a third. He started demanding that I open all the cash boxes inside the machines and give him everything inside.
What was security supposed to do in that situation?
We didn't have daytime security. They only came in the evenings, around 8 p.m.
Yuliya tried to calm the aggressive player. A few hours later, the lights were turned back on and his money was returned.
When someone loses, they lose something personal, you know? And people with addictions can react irrationally. You always have to be watchful and careful.
After that incident, the disgruntled player never returned. The staff didn't report him to the police as they didn't consider the conflict significant.
You know, in a way, I feel relieved. I was the main suspect after all. And there were rumors all over town.
On the street where Yuliya was murdered, there are 20 houses with over 50 residents. Yet only one man responded to her cries that night. He tried to help, but instead became the prime suspect. Today, the psychics helped restore his good name.
I'm deeply grateful to Jana and Jake for their help.
A horrifying murder of a young ballroom dance champion. Who took the girl's life with such cruelty? Don't miss out. The psychics will expose the murderer. Marina Liubota contacted the psychics with a plea for help. Her only daughter, Marina, enrolled in university to study economics. Starting her second year, she lived in this apartment, inherited from her grandmother. It seemed her whole life was ahead of her, but 6 months later, Marina was murdered. The poor mother still doesn't know who took the life of her 19-year-old daughter and why.
I always light this candle when I come here.
Since she was 6, Marina had been doing ballroom dancing with a local group. This was her first performance.
She was so tiny, like a doll in that ballroom dress. All her friends live. But she's gone.
At 14, Marina became the Ukrainian champion in ballroom dancing.
She brought home 2 certificates, first and second place.
However, she had to quit dancing. It required money to pursue it professionally, and the family didn't have it. Her mother works as a mason, and her father is a railway engineer. To help her parents, Marina always worked during school breaks. The most terrifying thing is that ever since she went to study, her mother almost nightly had the same horrifying dream.
I saw her in a wedding dress lying in a coffin. I had this vision several times. And later, I witnessed it awake.
The nightmare became reality. It was the first week of the school year. It was September 6th, Tuesday. Third-year student Marina Liubota went to her friend's birthday party.
She was preparing for the birthday, and when she came home, we went to buy the gift together. She called me, but I was on the bus and couldn't talk to her. She said, "Mom, don't call me. I'll send you texts and call you to tell you how things are."
Later, Marina texted her mom to tell her she was going to the club with her friends. At night, she sent her a text saying everything was fine and she was going to sleep.
When I got the text, I was reassured. I was going to call her in the morning, but then I thought that I should let her sleep since she didn't have her first class. But around 4 a.m., she sent me a text saying she was already home, and at 6 a.m., she was found dead in the nearby park.
To the left of this tree on September 7th at around 6:45 a.m., Marina's body was discovered. She was lying head toward that direction, face down, legs toward the tree.
Marina's body, showing signs of violent death, was found 100 meters from the building where she lived.
The victim had her lower jaw broken, 2 teeth knocked out, and lips split. Her head had multiple external and internal hematomas, as well as abrasions and bruises. The cause of death was a traumatic brain injury, specifically a fracture of the skull base bones, which led to irreversible brain damage.
The strangest thing is that neither Marina's body nor her belongings bore any stranger's fingerprints.
We only found Marina's fingerprints.
The investigators checked over 500 suspects to find at least some clue that could help identify the perpetrator. They even turned to the psychics.
At this point, all possible versions have been checked. However, the perpetrator has not been identified, so perhaps the psychics can help or guide us or suggest where else to look to identify the criminals.
Clairvoyants Ilona Kaldre and Olena Kurilova take on the investigation of this case.
I really hope new facts will emerge that will lead to solving the murder.
Marina's mother is waiting for the psychics not far from the place where Marina spent the last 6 months of her life.
Thank you so much for responding to my grief and coming.
We will do our best to help you.
The psychics follow Marina's mother to the 5th floor. Everything in this apartment remains as it was during Marina's life.
She's offering me a cup of water. She's very hospitable.
She brought this tea set from home. She used to host tea parties here with her friends.
Hello? You're connected to the family. Maybe a friend? You've known the girl well since she was little. Since she was born.
Yes.
This is Olga, Marina's godmother. She's still deeply grieving the tragic death of her goddaughter. She came here today to find out who took the girl's life and why.
It's so unbearably hard.
I tried to tune into the event that happened a few hours before Marina's death. She was in the company of girls. I see her in a beautiful dress.
In this photo, Marina is delighted with her new dress. She wore it on the night of her death. By a mystical coincidence, shortly before her death, Marina took a photo in her new dress in the same park near her home. 2 weeks later, her lifeless body was found there.
But she's surrounded by people.
I definitely sense female voices.
On the 6th, she went to her friend's birthday party.
The girls celebrated the event in a group of 4.
Her friends behave very suspiciously. They've never wanted to meet or talk to me.
But what does all this mean? Why haven't Marina's friends, who spent the last night of her life with her, met with her mother even once after her death? Could they know something?
As it turned out, the celebration started at the home of the birthday girl, Yuliya, in the presence of her parents.
They came to my place around 5 p.m., if I'm not mistaken.
Here, Marina celebrated the birthday with her friends, after which they went to a cafe.
Marina's friends who were with her that night were her classmates. They said that after the disco, they walked home. Katya lived on the other side of the city, so she stayed overnight at Yuliya's, while Marina and Olena went home together.
They walked home. It was about 4.5 kilometers.
For 30 or 40 minutes, the friends walked together until they parted ways near the park. Marina's friend says she doesn't know what happened to her after that.
All the girls who were with Marina on the last evening of her life were checked for involvement in her murder.
After we checked their alibis, we found they weren't involved in the murder.
I hear screaming. It's muffled, suppressed.
As it turned out, on the night Marina died, A local resident heard a female scream in the middle of the night. The man lives right next to the park.
We found that a resident of one of the nearby buildings was awake that night. He was surfing the internet, and around 3:40 to 3:50 a.m., he heard a female scream and several dull blows. However, looking out of the window, he only saw darkness. He didn't give it much thought and continued browsing the internet.
I see an image. It's either very early morning or very late evening.
I sense a dog breathing on her.
Around 7 a.m., a local resident walking her dog discovered Marina Liubota's body in the city park.
A very striking girl in appearance.
Her legs are exposed. She's face down. Rape. But her clothes aren't torn and her things are intact.
According to the woman who found Marina's body, her dress was pulled up. This led the investigators to consider the version that the perpetrator raped her before murdering.
One version is that the victim was murdered by someone driven by sexual attraction.
However, the forensics claim that Marina Liubota was not raped.
I can't work like this. I need to see the site. I need to understand what happened there.
And I'll go to the cemetery. I need to talk to her.
Olena Kurilova and Marina's mother head to Marina's grave. Meanwhile, her godmother and Ilona Kaldra go to the park where her body was found.
The body was around here. She was lying somewhere here.
Yes.
What kind of eyes could be here? Could there be CCTV in the park? No?
No.
I keep sensing some eyes. Could the guard be connected to what happened here?
That's probably the guard coming.
Tell me, if you hear a strange noise, a fight or something at night, would you go there?
I don't want to talk.
We found that this man was on duty from September 6th to 7th, the night Marina Liubota was murdered in this park. He claims he didn't hear any suspicious sounds.
We can't cover the entire park, you see. I could be at one end while the murder could happen at the other.
The park spans over 10 hectares. The guard station is located almost in the middle. The building is equipped with an emergency button. However, even if the guard had somehow heard the girl scream in the middle of the night, he still wouldn't have been able to call the police because, for some reason, the device malfunctioned that night.
There are too many ifs in this story. If the guard had heard, if the people who heard or saw something had responded for help, if the emergency button had worked, if the girl would be alive.
This incredible coincidence became fatal for Marina. But who and why murdered the 19-year-old university student so cruelly?
He's like a beast. He wants to pounce on her. But I can't understand his true motives. Marina's jewelry, where is it? The first thing that I see is her earrings. They're not gold, just the metal is yellow. The ring is definitely gold.
The victim's gold items were missing, a gold ring and a gold chain. Also, her earrings not gold though. They were costume jewelry, but they were also missing.
But the police immediately said it wasn't a robbery because it didn't look like one. She had 2 phones in her bag and money in her wallet. But nothing was taken. She had quite a sum with her.
The police detectives claim it doesn't look like a typical robbery, as only Marina's gold chain and ring were missing, while other valuables in her bag remained untouched.
The victim's personal belongings were found at the scene, including 2 phones and cash.
But if Marina wasn't raped or robbed, then what was the motive for this horrific murder? Meanwhile, Olena Kurilova heads to the cemetery to find out who and why killed her.
I sense a man. She had a boyfriend. Who is Artur or Artem?
Artur was her boyfriend. They dated for a year and a half.
I see them chat. I see words. Love messages.
They met online.
He studied.
They studied together.
As we found out, 2 years before her death, Marina met a young man named Artur on social media. It turned out he studied at the same university as her. They started a romantic relationship.
Marina sent me a friend request, and we started chatting. First, it was a mere interest, and then we began dating.
There was a breakup.
Yes, they broke up. Something happened, but she didn't tell me.
I now see her last moments. An attack and blows. The blows keep landing. And then that's it. She chokes on blood.
Her whole face was bloodied.
Could it really be Artur who murdered Marina?
They broke up. He initiated it.
He led it to the point where they broke up.
It became clear that continuing our relationship would burden both of us. So I suggested we part ways quietly and peacefully. So yes, I initiated the breakup.
Does this mean there was no conflict between the young people and Artur had no reason to kill Marina?
We verified Marina Liubota's ex-boyfriend Artur for a possible involvement in her murder and found no evidence of his guilt.
There's a spot, a very informative spot.
Where is the psychic going? What did she sense?
One second. He came from over there.
From the park, right?
Yes. He hit her here. He got into some kind of frenzy. Yes, she collapsed, and he took her and went that way.
The attacker assaulted Marina at the exact spot where the clairvoyant is now standing.
There was a large pool of blood here, about 1.5 meters from the garage. This appears to be the attack site. There are merely 20 meters from here to the building where Marina lived. And from here, from the pool of blood, a trail of footprints led to the park.
Let me call Elena. Everything is getting so mixed up.
Ilona, we're heading for you.
Half an hour later, Olena Kurilova is at the scene of the tragedy. The clairvoyants continue their investigation.
A man comes out from here cutting across, like this, from this alleyway. There should be traces here. I don't know if he cleaned cigarette butts later, but he stood here, smoking.
Maxim Sapozhnikov, the investigator who has been working on Marina Liubota's case for a long time, joins the psychics.
I have a strong feeling that the murderer wasn't just here that night. I see other victims too.
Who do you see?
A guy, a young man.
And I see a girl. A young woman. She's a bit taller and sturdier.
No, it's not a girl. It's a guy.
Could you describe him, Ilona?
Well, he's around 30 years old. Olena, he's drunk. It's so strange. I see him being turned and he's giving something away.
An hour before the attack on Marina, a robbery occurred in the same area involving a local resident. An unidentified perpetrator asked the victim for a cigarette, struck him on the head, took his phone, and fled.
However, both of Marina's phones were not taken. They were in her bag.
I see a girl. She's walking from here into these courtyards. Apparently, she lives here. Nothing was taken from her. He approaches her without a word and punches her. She turns and breaks free.
Half an hour before the estimated time of the attack on Marina Liubota, another attack occurred in the same area on a local woman. She, like Marina, was returning home from a birthday party. The perpetrator blinded her with a flashlight and punched her in the head. However, since she practiced martial arts, she managed to block the blow and escape. The attacker's identity remains unknown.
Do you believe the attack you're describing here was committed by the same person who attacked Marina?
It's the same person.
He's an ex-convict. He'd been in prison before he started wandering here. I think it had been less than a month since he was released.
He served time, but not for murder, you see. He beat people. He fought. He attacked women and stole. Robberies. Smashing kiosks and pavilions. A kind of savagery driven by hunger, poverty, and anger.
It's quite possible that after being released, the perpetrator had no means of subsistence, and so he decided to obtain them through robbery. Most likely he knew the city and chose the area where Marina Liubota lived because it was a residential area with poorly lit courtyards.
I saw an image of Marina herself giving him something and saying, "Take it, please, but leave me alone."
It was gold. He didn't sell it, though, but exchanged it for
drugs or alcohol.
At some place like a den where they sell such things. That's where the gold ended up.
But why did he take the phone in one case but not in Marina's?
Because he killed her. He wasn't going to do it. He didn't take anything because he was scared when he realized that she died. After the first blow, she didn't resist, didn't run, and didn't scream. She just went limp and collapsed. I see him trying to hide. He moves her to another place to temporarily cover up his crime.
And the bag is dangling around her neck.
He didn't touch the bag.
He was scared. He thought he didn't want to be connected to this. He didn't take the bag or phone not to leave his fingerprints. He didn't even touch or look at them.
Most probably, Marina was killed with particular cruelty because his previous victim escaped, and the stolen phone likely wasn't of much value. The perpetrator, possessing great physical strength, simply miscalculated the blow. When he realized this, he decided to cover his tracks and moved the body to the park, where he attempted to stage a rape. That's why he didn't take the victim's wallet, cards, or phone.
What is the man doing now?
The woman he lives with looks very antisocial. She's young, but looks older than her years. She has serious dental problems.
A house, possibly in the countryside.
He prefers a very sporty style of clothing, but rather baggy.
We will verify the information received. Perhaps it will help us find the perpetrator and bring him to justice.
Thank you. God bless you. I hope that after this meeting there will be some relief. And that the police will respond to this. Hopefully, they'll find him because the psychics revealed a lot of new details.
A girl from an orphanage was found strangled in her room. Who is responsible for her death? Don't miss the shocking revelation. The girl's ghost will tell the secret of her death. A girl was found strangled in her room at an orphanage in one of the Ukrainian towns. The girl's name was Julia Repish.
Upon arrival at the scene, we discovered the body of a minor girl.
Yuliya's body was lying between two beds near the entrance to the room that she shared with another girl. Her roommate was with the other children in the hall on the evening of the tragedy. She doesn't know if anyone entered Yuliya's room. It was extremely difficult for the forensic experts to reconstruct the events.
When the investigators arrived at the scene, they were puzzled. The room where Yuliya was found was full of children and caregivers, all trying to resuscitate her. All traces of the crime were destroyed.
The forensics found that the girl had been strangled with her own chiffon scarf. The detectives claim Yuliya committed suicide. However, everyone who knew the deceased girl is convinced Yuliya would never have killed herself.
There were no signs whatsoever she could do it.
She was cheerful and sociable and had a lot of friends.
She was very creative and wrote poems.
Yuliya was an excellent student. She had grand plans for the future and dreamed of a career and a happy family, which she herself did not have. But those dreams were not destined to come true.
No one believes it was suicide.
The circumstances of the death are indeed strange. The scarf wasn't tied to anything. There wasn't even a knot on the scarf.
Our detective met with Yuliya's second cousin, Ksenia Tsarenko, who wasn't only a relative, but also the best friend to Yuliya.
How come Yuliya ended up in the orphanage?
Her father was in prison for a long time, then her mother was also thrown in jail. She took the blame for her husband, Yuliya's father.
He started drinking. Then he went to prison twice for theft, and after he was released last time, he stole manhole covers. He suggested I take the blame since I didn't have a criminal record.
Under pressure from her husband, the woman assumed the guilt.
He beat me badly. Yuliya was still little. He even forced us out of the house, and my daughter and I had to sleep on the street many times.
While the woman was serving a sentence for her husband, he disappeared, and their daughter ended up in the orphanage. The poor girl endured real horror in her short life.
Did Yuliya communicate with her mother?
When she was taken to the orphanage, she bore a grudge against her mother for a long time. At first, they didn't communicate, but in the last 6 months of Yuliya's life, they finally started talking.
After her daughter's death, the woman says she has changed. She regrets not taking care of her daughter and blames herself. After all, Yuliya could have stayed alive if she had lived at home instead of the orphanage.
How did you find out that Yuliya had died?
As the experts said, it happened at 5 minutes to 9 in the evening. We were informed about it at around 7 the following morning.
Yuliya's relatives say they suspected she was murdered when they saw her body during the funeral.
She was brought with a veil over her face and gloves on her hands. But when I lifted the veil, I saw that her nose was obviously broken. The bone was displaced to the left, and there was a bruise under her eye and many hematomas.
But if Yuliya committed suicide, where did these injuries come from? The police gave no explanations to the relatives. They say there was no fight in the orphanage and claim they interrogated all the children and caregivers.
Scrapings were taken from under the nails, the children were checked, alibis were verified. She was alone in the room.
But Yuliya's relatives are convinced the orphanage residents are covering for one another, and those not involved in the murder were intimidated.
I would like to know who among the kids, or caregivers, could have done this.
The investigators closed the case and advised the victims' relatives not to interfere.
The detective forbade Yus from approaching the children at all.
I want to know the true cause of her death.
Psychics, I only have hope in you.
Clairvoyant Jana Shulikova agreed to help. She says she had a strange vision last night.
I saw the girl, and she was saying very strange phrases. The one who fears the coming of night is to blame for my death. The one who came for the money is guilty.
What is that supposed to mean?
I need to phone Kayal.
The colleague's call caught Kayal Alekperov while traveling.
Salam, Jana.
I'd like to ask you for help.
Sure, I will help you.
Kayal Alekperov receives Yuliya's photo and immediately tunes in.
I had a vision. An adult burly man abused a girl. She looked underage. The man molested and eventually raped her. But who is this monster? And who is the girl? The one in the photo looks similar but older.
It's horrendous. Who is the psychic talking about? And how does this relate to Yuliya's strange death? The clairvoyants meet to share what they sensed.
Jana, on my way here, Yuliya's spirit appeared to me. The girl said a strange phrase that she learned the truth about the money. That's why she died.
This park was Yuliya's favorite place for walks. She and her cousin often met here. It was in this park that Tetiana last saw Yuliya alive, so she arranged the meeting here.
Hello.
To find out what happened to Yuliya and who is responsible for her death, her friends and acquaintances also came.
Please give me your hand. I see something strange. It's a notebook or a journal, about this size. In it, Yuliya writes about what is on her mind.
She did have a notebook.
Where is it now?
We weren't given her belongings. All of them stayed at the orphanage.
Hold on. I see the spirit of a girl. She's standing right here. She's short and plump and has wavy hair.
My dear girl.
Yuliya says you were her most precious person. She points to your hair, saying she loved doing your hair.
Yuliya dreamed to be a hairstylist.
Now I see a notebook with hairstyle sketches.
She had a large notebook where she sketched hairstyles.
Where is the notebook now? I suspect it's with her diary, isn't it?
At the orphanage, yes.
The things are destroyed. Someone tosses them into fire.
All of Yuliya's belongings were burned.
Tetiana says she went to the orphanage every day, asking for at least some of her cousin's belongings, but all in vain.
A woman burned them.
A girl from the orphanage said that the director ordered all her things, all the photos and notebooks, to be collected and burned.
But why did the girl's belongings bother the orphanage director so much? Could it be that the administration was trying to hide something and cover up the crime?
We need to go to the orphanage.
I found out that after Yuliya's death, another woman was appointed as the director of the orphanage, and the previous director was demoted to deputy director.
As soon as the psychics approached the orphanage, the new director came out to meet them.
Hello? We would like to see the room where the girl lived.
We don't want you here.
We were denied the opportunity to work in the orphanage even when the place was empty, and all the children were at school. It seems they are really trying to conceal something.
Our detective found a man who was Yuliya's educator. He doesn't work at the orphanage anymore, so he agreed to speak in front of the camera.
Did you happen to know of her problems?
There was a conflict with the current director at that time. Yuliya and other kids filed a collective complaint.
It turned out a month before Yuliya's death, the children wrote a complaint against the then director to have her removed from her position.
She was overly strict and negatively perceived any initiative from the children. And then the signatures. Julia Repish's signature was the first.
And a month later, she was gone. How can this be explained? And why won't the orphanage administration allow the psychics inside?
I've only been working here for 3 months. The deputy director was diagnosed with a severe disease due to stress, and she's undergoing treatment in Israel. There's no one to ask.
Coincidence or not, but the former director went to Israel just when the psychics arrived.
Yuliya's spirit showed me a female silhouette and said she was to blame for everything. She only needed money. But I couldn't see the woman's face clearly.
Could the psychic be talking about the former director? But what does money have to do with it?
She says that they took money from her, or they wanted to take money.
It turned out that there are large sums of money in the bank accounts of the orphanage children.
The administration cooperates with the US, Germany, and Poland.
Many children have sponsors assigned to them. Thanks to such sponsors, the children who graduated when I worked there have where to live now.
Yuliya also had a bank card like that.
Her German sponsors transferred money for her.
According to Yuliya's relatives, a family from Germany transferred a significant amount of money to Yuliya's account shortly before her death.
Something around 3,000 to 5,000 euros.
But what happened to the money after Yuliya's death?
5,000 euros is a significant amount. Someone could have killed for such an inheritance.
Where is the document confirming that the card was closed? There are no documents.
I really don't know. I can only be responsible for the cards that are currently with our children.
Project's detective Katerina Malichenko found out where an orphan's money goes if they die.
The guardian's duty was to inform the bank that the child had died. Accordingly, the funds would be blocked in the account until the issue of inheritance is resolved.
Yuliya's relatives were supposed to inherit the money, but they were told that there was no card at the orphanage.
We asked the former director. She said there was no card.
It's possible that Yuliya's money was taken by the orphanage administration after her death. Could it be that the girl was really strangled for profit?
I can hear Yuliya's voice again. She's mad. She says, "The most important thing is family." She wanted to give the money away anyway.
To whom?
It's someone very dear to her, but not a relative. It's a little girl. Her name starts with an O.
Alexandra. She was 8 when it happened.
Alexandra was very attached to Yuliya. She even called Yuliya Mom several times.
Yuliya was deprived of a happy childhood, so she wanted to make all the little children she knew happy. And her spirit kept saying, "Money is nothing. Family is everything." Maybe the girl didn't die because of the money at all.
Why then?
Suddenly, I saw a terrible vision of the burly man brutally beating the girl. He assaulted and raped the poor thing, but who is he? Now I'm getting information that Yuliya has a friend who knows an important secret. Here she is. Please come here. Yuliya's spirit says she lost a child. Did she tell you about it?
Yes. She told me that she had an abortion when she was 4 months pregnant.
This is a shocking discovery, but who was the girl pregnant by?
She said her mother had more than one man, and those men raped her. When she was 12, she had an abortion when she was 4 months into pregnancy.
This is something unimaginable. So much suffering for a child. Her own father beat her. According to her friends, Yuliya endured rape and an abortion, and her mother's face didn't even flinch, as if the woman had no idea about any of this.
But she never even went to the hospital.
This is what she told me.
She cuts herself.
I saw the scars on her arm. I noticed her arm was bandaged. She said she wanted to cut her veins but couldn't bring herself to do it and only scratched herself.
The girl kept silent and dreamed, but her dreams didn't come true. Nobody needed her.
Despite living in the orphanage, Yuliya attended a regular school. Most of the students in her class were children of wealthy parents. They didn't want to be friends with her and ignored her. Some even made fun of her.
They pointed fingers at Yuliya, saying things like, "There's your drunk mother's going."
The girl's spirit kept repeating, "The one who is afraid to sleep, the one who came to me for the money, is guilty."
I feel that your daughter's spirit is talking about you now. Do you feel her presence in the house? Does she come to you at night?
After Yuliya died, I can only sleep with the light on. I'm scared. She stands by the door in the wedding dress we buried her in.
Did her mother visit her at the orphanage?
Yes, a few times. But honestly, she came to ask Yuliya for money. She said, "Darling, please give me some money because I can't even buy bread."
The girl accumulated resentment and despair over the years. But she never lost hope. She hoped her mother would take her back. She refused the chance to live with a wealthy family abroad and ran after her mother like a little stray kitten.
She would come and say she wanted to go home. She kissed me and climbed on my neck. And I said, "Yuliya, it's hard for me. You're not a little girl anymore."
The girl had a significant amount of foreign currency in her account. It seems that's why her mother didn't take her from the orphanage, even though she begged her to. The woman waited for Yuliya to come of age so she could withdraw all the money. This wasn't a violent death, it was suicide due to Yuliya's immense emotional suffering. You needed your daughter's money, not her. The mother only reconnected with Yuliya in the last year, just when the girl got the money. Yuliya didn't want to live because she realized that her closest person had betrayed her again.
I'm a mother of 5, and I can't understand how you, a person who has no health issues and is able to work, had the audacity to abandon your own child.
First of all, I didn't abandon her.
What do you call it then?
I conducted an experiment. The scarf Yuliya was strangled with might have been wrapped around the door handle in the room. Then, one of the orphanage girls decided to enter the room. Naturally, she pressed the handle from the other side. Under Yuliya's body weight, the scarf slipped because there was no loop or knot on it, which is why we assumed it was a murder. As such, the impact of the body hitting the floor and its subsequent movement around the room explains the scratches and abrasions on it.
Yuliya committed suicide. This is the verdict of the nation's most powerful psychics.
She must ask her daughter for forgiveness. The mother should ask the girl to forgive her because she never did it before.
I'll perform a ritual to help the girl's soul find peace.
I need to make redemption.
Her spirit is next to you now.
She's standing behind Allah.
It feels like someone is breathing behind me.
Kayal, she's stroking her mother. Yuliya is standing behind you, stroking your hair like this.
My baby, forgive me for everything. Forgive me for not being a good mother. I miss you so much.
Kayal, extinguish the candle and let the girl go.
Don't make the mistakes I made. I ruined my and my daughter's lives. Never abandon your child under no circumstances. It hurts so much.
Pray for her. Give her attention and love after her death, at least in your memories.
This is inconceivable. The girl took her own life due to total loneliness and abandonment. A mysterious death of a young guy in a student dormitory. Who is responsible for his demise? Don't miss out. The psychics will uncover the shocking secret the student took to his grave. This is 17-year-old Ukrainian teenager Pasha Onichenko dancing the last school waltz with his mother, Larisa. Just a few months later, he would become a university student, studying to be a mining engineer, and a year later, he would be gone.
It's so hard without you, baby. Take me to be with you.
Pasha had just completed his first year of studies, and he and his classmates were going to go to do their summer practice. But, as it was later discovered, he never did it. He was found hanged in the dormitory, in the room where he had lived throughout the academic year.
According to the forensics, the young man's death was due to mechanical asphyxiation. The detectives concluded that he committed suicide.
Nevertheless, even a year later, Pasha's parents, Larisa and Serhiy, still can't believe that their son could have taken his own life.
We go to the cemetery each Saturday.
Life is no longer life, but mere existence.
The parents can't understand how this could have happened to their son. After all, Pasha dreamed of completing a university degree and taking them to live in the city. Besides, he planned to marry.
We don't believe he could have done it himself. No one believes it. He was such a lively person, always joking, always positive.
He would have never committed suicide.
The bruises they saw on Pasha's body before the funeral only fueled his friends and family's suspicions.
A black eye, a split lip, a bruised chin, and a dislocated thumb on his right hand.
He had a wound on his head.
His face was all bruised.
Almost all the villagers attended Pasha's funeral. They are convinced the boy was murdered. However, the police detectives claim otherwise.
All they cared about was to close the case as soon as possible.
It's impossible that Pasha could have done this to himself.
Besides, Pasha's mother sees her son in her dreams every night, and he keeps telling her he did not take his own life.
He says, "Mom, I never wanted to do this. I really wanted to go, but I failed."
Desperate to find out what really happened to their son, the parents emailed the psychics.
We don't know what else we could do.
Psychics Yakiv Schneyerson and Ilmira Derbentseva take up the case.
When I tune into the boy, I see a struggle. I see someone's hands on his throat. Most likely those hands helped him leave this world.
Was Pasha indeed murdered? But who did it and why?
Stop the van!
What did you see?
I'm in the water, surrounded by it on all sides. I see fish. They're attacking me. They're biting me. I don't know what to do. Should I give up and drown or fight them? They're everywhere. I'm shaking. I felt his condition. He was under pressure, and he kept repeating to himself, "I'll do everything myself. I'll deal with it." Ilmira, look, coins. They're not ordinary coins. They're ritualistic. It's like a sign. Something in this story will definitely be connected to money.
Hello. Please come in. Help us figure out what really happened.
Yakiv Schneyerson decides to work inside the house, while Ilmira Derbentseva stays outside with Pasha's father.
I'm being led over here.
It was his room.
May I sit down? This is the bed.
This is his couch. When we bought it for him, everyone laughed, saying it would be his wedding couch.
He was different from his peers. He wanted to do everything for his family.
Immediately after he entered the yard with his suitcase, I'd see him riding the scooter somewhere, mowing the lawn.
He took care of all the chores. He would mow the grass and help his parents with everything.
He was very hardworking. He was very apt.
If Pasha had stayed in the village, nothing bad would have happened to him. Everyone considered him a joker and a prankster, but in fact, deep in his soul, he was very sensitive. But when he got to the city, he found himself in some harsh struggle.
But what trouble did Pasha get into? And did he really take his own life? Or was he hanged by someone else?
Pasha had a strong bond with his father. They loved working with engines, fixing cars.
To be honest, I lost everything I had.
He worked here since he was around 10 or 12. And I think he had a dream to have his own car. To drive it, right?
I taught him to drive.
Mechanics seemed to be his biggest passion.
Pasha didn't need a TV or a computer. He could spend hours tinkering with cars. He could take a vehicle apart and put it back together.
We all waited when he finally turned 18, so he could officially get his driver's license.
Pasha enrolled in a driving school. To receive his dream document, he had one step left to complete to pass the exam, which was supposed to be 2 days after the day when he was found hanged.
He had the exam scheduled.
However, Pasha never showed up for the exam. Moreover, the boy, who usually called his parents several times a day, simply disappeared.
We couldn't reach him. A day, 2, 3, but all we got was, "The subscriber you are trying to reach is unavailable."
Worried, the mother asked Pasha's classmates to go to his room and check if everything was okay. They knocked on his door several times, but no one answered.
According to the forensic experts, Pasha died a day before his body was found. But where was he all those days while his parents couldn't reach him? Why was his phone turned off? And why didn't he respond?
According to the official version, the boy committed suicide, and the investigators didn't conduct a further investigation.
We need to summon his spirit. Hold the rocks, please. I see that. While I'm sitting on the couch, I'm being shown that his death found him on the bed. And there are pipes like this. And I feel that he was in this position. Like his hands were under him and his legs were like this. And he was all curled up.
This is right.
On June 9th, we received a report regarding the discovery of a university student's body. He was found in a sitting position on the bed.
I sense that a few days later, something blind, like an animal, came to visit you.
After Pasha's funeral, a blind kitten came to our house. It lies down on my chest all the time.
Dead people's souls often return to their loved ones in the form of animals. Pasha came to his family as a blind kitten. Let's go. I don't yet understand whether he did it himself or if someone helped him.
I sense he suffered from something.
I saw him break up with a girl about 6 months before his death. It changed him a lot.
In March.
It turned out that indeed, around 6 months before Pasha's death, his girlfriend left him. The young people had been together for about a year. Pasha took the breakup very hard.
I sensed that he really might have committed suicide.
Could the breakup with his girlfriend have driven Pasha to suicide?
But he's showing me that there's another girl. And she appeared a few days or weeks before his death.
It's all true. He went to a friend's 18th birthday on the 31st and came back laughing. I asked, "Son, what happened?" And he said, "Mom, I have a new girlfriend."
We found the girl and talked to her.
He wasn't like everyone else. He was kind and sincere.
It turned out that Pasha and Nastya had known each other for many years, but they realized they couldn't live without each other just before Pasha's death.
We went to the same school, and we started communicating later, and then he asked me if I'd like to date him.
There could be no suicide, especially not over love. He started a new relationship with the girl fate had given him.
Perhaps Pasha and Nastya would have really built a family, and his parents would have been playing with their grandchildren and enjoying life. But instead, every Saturday, they go to their son's grave.
He's pulling me to the cemetery now.
I'll stay here with Sergei.
Hello, my dear. Tell them everything, my dear boy.
The stone fell. He's here with us now. Pasha, show me the day of your death. He's showing me 3 people around him. He's lying on the bed, and they're standing over him. And they're filled with fear. They start running somewhere.
Who are these people? Could they be Pasha's killers?
But I was shown that he was already dead when they arrived.
These are the boys who broke into the room. They all got scared and ran downstairs to call the police and me.
Pasha Onichenko's body was found by his friends. These are the same young men who knocked on his room's door for 4 days at the request of his mother. However, they refused to communicate with us, as did the rest of the students at the university where Pasha studied. They say they were forbidden to talk.
But what happened before that? And why was Pasha's phone turned off?
His body is covered in bruises, head injuries, bruises, and hematomas on his head.
His lip and right temple were split.
He received a blow here, and it seems something also happened to his thumb.
His thumb was twisted, displaced, but the police said it was a result of the effort from hanging.
Could the police officers have made a mistake?
I need to see the dormitory, to be in the place where he was at the moment of his death.
But it's late. It's 11 o'clock in the evening. Nevertheless, we set off on the road. The next morning, the psychics continue their investigation and go to talk to the supervisor of the dormitory where Pasha was found dead.
Hello, this is Psychic Investigations. Larissa reached out to us regarding her son's death. We'd like to see his room.
I need to inform the university directorate.
We can wait.
It turns out, getting into Pasha's room is extremely difficult.
They don't want us to find the truth.
I clearly realized that everyone around was afraid to bring up the topic of Pasha's death, and only at the end of the investigation did I understand why. I need to get out of here. I need to tune in. His energy is coming from over there. I feel he was looking from there. He wanted to run away from there.
He often told me that when he came back to his room, there were a lot of strangers there. So he would leave the dormitory and go for a walk because he didn't want to see them.
But who were those people, and why did Pasha avoid them? Finally, the psychics were allowed to enter the room where Pasha lived and was found dead. However, we were forbidden to bring in the cameras, so everything that happened further had to be filmed on a mobile phone.
When I entered the room where Pasha lived and where he was found dead, I felt like I was in a vice. And I'm sure Pasha felt the same. He wasn't supposed to be there. I'm being shown that he had plans to leave a month or 2 ago. It's connected to work and studies.
He was going to do the summer practice, but it never happened.
To do this, Pasha had to pay a certain amount to his group's curator in advance. It included the cost of transportation and accommodation. According to Pasha's parents, they gave their son this amount about a month before his death.
When they said Pasha didn't pay the fee for some reason, I called his curator, and it turned out she didn't even know.
After Pasha received the money from his parents, he asked them for almost the same amount for general expenses, but he didn't pay the fee and didn't go anywhere. Moreover, shortly before his death, Pasha pawned his gadgets, a laptop and a camera, and received an amount almost 3 times larger, as evidenced by the pawn shop receipt. It remains unclear why he needed such a sum, as it's not a small amount for an ordinary student.
Could Pasha have really gotten into trouble? But why didn't he tell anyone about it? And how exactly did he die?
This place was like a prison for him. He was despised, hated here. He runs away from here. I see the money.
The psychics mentioned the money before the investigation.
It seems to be a certain sign. In this story, something will definitely be connected to money.
He had a money problem about a month and a half before his death. It bothered him greatly, and he didn't know what to do.
I'm being pulled over there.
There's a room full of computers.
I'm being pulled there.
Pasha, what really happened? I'm ashamed. I'm very ashamed. I thought I could handle it myself. He says he got confused.
Larissa, I feel that this is where he played. He just needed to get away from the problems that loomed over him. He liked it here.
We spoke to Pasha's friends and found out that he wasn't a gambling person and didn't have any debts. He might occasionally go to the internet cafe just to relax.
Yakiv Schneerson goes back to Ilmira Derbentseva.
I see him being punched. He receives a blow on the head, and he falls and hits his right temple.
He's lying curled up. When he fell, one of them touched him with their foot. Like, you know, trying to see if he was alive.
They got scared, and now I feel their condition, and he seems to be unconscious.
And they pulled him over there. The rope was bright, wasn't it?
It was orange.
This is just horrifying. Could the boy have been brutally murdered and his death staged as a suicide? But who and why would do that?
I see them taking him and placing him like this, and his position is unnatural. They're masking everything as suicide, and I see them taking his things, creating the illusion that he killed himself.
Does this mean Pasha was indeed murdered and then hanged, after which the killer or killers fled? Moreover, an empty vodka bottle was on the table. According to the autopsy, there was no alcohol in Pasha's blood. But how could such a thing happen in an ordinary student dormitory? And most importantly, who killed Pasha and why?
They break into his room and demand money from him. They say they'll increase the sum if he doesn't pay. They threatened him.
I heard the words, "You'll repay it."
I felt that older students or outsiders demanded money from those who were weaker, like first-year students. I saw fish attacking me, and they started biting me. I didn't know what to do. Should I give up and drown or fight them? They're everywhere. They're putting pressure on me. He tried to get out of it himself, but he couldn't. And then I see them coming and demanding money from him. He gave them the money Larissa had given him to pay for the trip. Then they demanded more. He sells his gadgets and gives them the money he got for it.
They blackmailed him.
Yes, they had a leader.
He's older, dark-haired, with a part in his hair. Sharp features, a thin, sunken nose, and sunken eyes. And two younger men.
One of them is around 20 years old. He does sports and studies here. He lives in the dormitory.
He's the one who hit him because he does sports. I have a feeling he does either martial arts or mixed martial arts, and the third one. He's absolutely unremarkable.
He's fair-haired and skinny.
Could the poor parents have known that sending their son to study, they were sending him to his certain death? According to the psychics, the modest rural boy simply could not stand up to the stronger and more brazen residents or guests of the dormitory, who humiliated him, took his money, and finally killed him, staging it as a suicide.
We are so grateful to you for clearing our boy's name. We will take action.
We contacted the local police, asking them to review the case and pay attention to what the psychics sensed.